People think that to be charismatic, you have to be loud and outgoing all the time. But that is not true at all. Being loud has actually nothing to do with charisma or confidence. And if you as a quiet person try to be loud, it can actually make you look embarrassingly weird, like a clown on a funeral. So in this video you'll get 3 easy rules that you can use to stop being ignored. You will see why it will work for you even if you are shy around people and have a hard time to speak up in the first place. Also, why you don't actually need to say anything to grab people's attention. And how you can do all of this by stealing a trick from Beyoncé. But first we have to know a vital fact about the feeling of being ignored. And what trying to stop being ignored will actually amplify. That you will be overlooked and rejected. Why do we have the feeling of being ignored in the first place? Being ignored is the lack of attention. And attention is something that we as humans crave because we need it to survive. And it's kind of like when we're feeling ignored, we go out and try to get the attention. But then we tend to get the exact opposite of what we actually want. The harder we try to get people's attention, the more they seem to ignore us. Or the more we seem to hate ourselves. You've ever heard of the Streisand Effect? In the early 2000s, a photographer released aerial pictures of the coastline of Malibu as a project to document coastal erosion. And on one of the many pictures you could spot the mention of actress Barbara Streisand. And she was not happy that a picture of her mention was now on the internet, and she had her legal team reaching out to the photographer to take it down. The photo was among thousands of others and was not initially marked in any way. However, the lawsuit generated mass and media attention to that single picture Streisand wanted to suppress, and was now seen by far more people than it would have been if she just let it be. We've seen happen the same thing to different areas of life, like when Edward Snowden leaked important information about the US government, or the GTA series where it was banned from some countries, which led to more people wanting it to play. If they hadn't tried to suppress it, it would have got less attention. This is also called the backwoods law. The harder you try to achieve something, the less successful you will be. Just like Barbara Streisand's house, or basically the opposite of it. The more we try to get attention, the less we seem to get it. And by the end of the video, you'll learn how to craft that person that gets attention naturally and does not need to force it. It's like pushing a pull door. The more you try, the more embarrassing it gets. The same goes for being ignored and when we search for attention. The harder you try to get attention, to belong and to be accepted, the more it seems that you're trying to catch smoke with your bare hands. This is just because of the effort you put in. With more effort, you try to adapt to what you think others want you to be. And this makes you act inauthentic. And this leads to 2 outcomes you hate. Your efforts are futile and create what you don't want. You feel a feeling close to self-disgust because you betrayed yourself and your values. Because you were making a deal that killed your self-esteem. The deal that you get attention from a certain group and pay that with your self-worth by betraying that self-worth. And in result, you gave away your most precious treasure and gained nothing in return. So this strategy doesn't seem to work, right? So let's have a look now what other strategies might work better for you. And have a look at the 3 rules that when you follow them, you will get the attention of others as easy as a pie. And that without pretending to be someone else and without being loud or douchey. When I found out the first rule, I was so ashamed after it because it was so obvious. And you might feel the same and might be eager to skip ahead and don't pay much attention to it. But this one alone made me realize something big about getting people's attention. And with that, a feeling of being confident. Years ago, I had kickbox lessons. And sometimes I came a bit later, mostly because I was lazy, even though I knew I should be there earlier because it was important. And I noticed that on the days I came later and the training already started, I got injured more often. I got bruises, sprained ankles, or pulled muscles. And it took me a while to see the correlation there, but when I did, I never missed the beginning of the training ever again. And that with the result that I lowered my injury count dramatically. And when I applied this small learning from kickboxing to my social life, it made it much easier for me to connect to people, have them listen to me and feel overall confident around strangers or authorities. If I knew I was going to meet people later because I went to work or a party or so, I did all in my power to get out of my head, into my body, out of the thinking and into the feeling. In the morning, the first thing I did was singing and dancing in front of the mirror, because this put me in a good mood and I felt present in the moment. And the reason was I warmed myself up socially. You are not surprised that I injured myself in sports when you heard that I did not warm up myself. But you are surprised that people ignore you when you try to get some attention. You are, as I did, skipping the warm-up. But how do we warm up socially and in return get easily the attention of others? There are actually many studies that link dancing to improved mental health and better moods. And we know that when we are in a good mood, we are more confident. And more confidence leads to more social interaction. And that leads to more attention. And if you are in that good mood already, double down your social warm-ups even further. I found out that when I was getting to work or that social event, and when I looked other people in the eyes and said hello, no matter if they responded or not, I felt much more confident and able to interact with other people. Because in this case, you started the interaction by the eye contact and the greeting. And with that, you find out that other people are as shy and awkward as you were before you warmed up. That gives you the important edge you need to interact with people and don't be ignored. Oh, by the way, this channel is about helping people to overcome their doubts, insecurities, and hopelessness and become that confident, empowered superhero that is already inside of you. And if you like that, then hit the like and subscribe button so I can help you find that superhero you that is already inside of you. And if you combine that with rule number 3 and what you can steal from Beyoncé, you're gonna be someone people do not ignore anymore, but you'll be someone they actively seek to talk to. But first, let's look at rule number 2. That will help you to be known as someone that people just love to have around. And all you need to do is be more like this guy. What if I told you that you only talk with 7% of your potential? But trying to be heard, build self-esteem and meaningful connections is impossible when 93% of what you do is lost. It's like buying a pizza and only eating the box.
What do you mean only?
And then it's no wonder that you might think that people just don't like you, or that you should rather be on your own, or that you just have to be loud and small-minded to be liked, and basically not be yourself. But what are these 93% that you are throwing away? And what simple shift can you do that makes people pay attention to you? And who could better explain this to you as this guy? You probably know who that is, right? Yeah, of course, it's Charlie Chaplin. Back in the old days before superhero movies, stars couldn't rely on heavily polished scripts to make the actors look eloquent and smart. Back then they had to rely on non-verbal communication. See, when you're quiet and insecure, you tend to pull your arms towards your center and your head in like a turtle. Assuming you're human, of course, and if you are a turtle, then keep doing that. With this, you're protecting your vital organs against any potential danger. But this makes you look like you want to hide, and this is what you get around people. He's talking about that the spoken word only makes up 7% of the conversation. And tonality and body language is much more. And here is a lesser known fact about insecurity in humans. And what I will say now will be harsh, but I mean it well. So if you're not ready for that, then it's okay to skip ahead. If other people see you showing signs of insecurity and there's no danger around, you are coming off as the boy who cried wolf. You will be dismissed as a group member because of the friction this creates in the mind of someone who sees you being insecure. If a person has come to the conclusion from their own perception that there's no danger around, and sees you being insecure, that person will try to get away from you because you might be the source of danger. Because something is up here, something is not right. And there's actually a great way to overcome this insecurity in yourself, which I will get to later. But the trick is not to do the opposite and be a loud, inconsiderate douchebag to get attention. The only thing you need to do is open your chest. This shows that you are presenting your vital organs and that you are vulnerable. And if you think about that, who shows his surrounding that he is vulnerable? Someone who doesn't fear that his surrounding can attack him. Someone who is confident that there's no danger to his life. Basically, to get attention from other people, you have to overcome the fear of being seen. Many quiet people that would love to get the attention of other people, colleagues, or their love interest have this desire, but also equally the fear of being seen. It's like trying to get your keys back from a friend's place at night without waking them up by ringing the doorbell. But how can you overcome that fear fast that is holding you back for so long? And this is where we can steal a trick from Beyoncé. You've ever heard of the Batman effect? Before Beyoncé was Beyoncé, she was just Beyoncé. But to become Beyoncé, she needed to stop being Beyoncé and started to become Sasha Fierce. Sasha was her on-stage persona that she built because she was so frightened of the spotlight. So afraid of being seen and being judged that this fear held her back to be her true and best self. Sasha was basically the Spider-Man to her Peter Parker, the Hannah Montana to her Miley Stewart, the Bruce Wayne to her Batman. Beyoncé created a split persona of herself that allowed her to be confident, strong, and fierce. She created a version of herself that did not have the insecurities Beyoncé had. And the more Beyoncé switched into her, the more she became her, until she didn't need it Sasha anymore. And yes, Bruce Wayne is the alter ego. You can fight me about that in the comments. Here are now 3 essential questions you need to answer to become that alter ego version of yourself. Let's call them the Batman questions. Question 1. What are your core strengths and how can you amplify them? Think of something people come to you for. Something that gives you energy. Something that you would get up for on a Sunday morning at 6. And something that you would pay for to do it. Question number 2. What traits do you admire in others that you wish to embody? Is it public speaking, telling jokes, making everyone laugh, or giving people the feeling that when they talk to you, only they matter to you in that moment? That what you admire in others is already a part of you which wants to be developed. Batman question number 3. In moments of challenge, what kind of person do you wish to become? That's your superhero moment. In what moments do you usually shy away and hide from others? How would you rather be? How would you like others to think of you? Talk to you? behave around you? With these questions, you become your own Batman, Beyoncé, or Ronald McDonald. And I mentioned earlier the simple trick to overcome insecurities once and for all. But there's something else I've started doing and showing my clients that had the biggest impact on my life and on theirs. And in my deep dive video about how you're not really insecure and that you just happen to think wrong, I explained exactly this and how you will be completely off to the races from feeling invisible to being unstoppable. So I'd recommend checking out that video right here.